Hello and welcome everybody to the fourth installment of Alice in Japan, the incredible adventures of the unsinkable Alice Baker. After finding out a little bit about a fox spirit that has been wronged and that has been trying to take revenge and calming that kami down successfully, our two heroines have been invited to a banquet held in honor of the expat community. I mean, just thinking about it, the Meiji Restoration has been successful. We are now in the Showa era, which means that Hirohito is emperor. And the country has been opening up to the West for the last 40 odd years, 50 years. And more foreigners have been coming in. There's even a foreigner, if you like, district in Yokohama. But of course, you live in Tokyo. I mean, for those who don't know, Tokyo and Yokohama are not too far away. Yokohama is probably still to this day the biggest harbor in Japan, and it was definitely the most important one back then. And after the Great Kanto earthquake, a lot of Tokyo was destroyed. And for example, a lot of the embassies didn't rebuild until a little bit later. And a lot of the ambassadors actually have their residences and also where they do their office stuff in the hotel that you are in, called the Imperial Hotel, where you're also staying. It's a huge building. And so the expat community know each other. You especially as well, because your father has been doing business with Japan, with a Japanese company, and you know the family. So the fact that you are there is known also to the American ambassador, because way back when, it was also normal for expats when they moved or when they went on holidays to also sign in with their embassy. To say, okay, well, we've arrived, blah, blah, blah. Even today, depending on where you go, some embassies tell their citizens to do that, so that just in case there is an issue, and of course the Kanto earthquake was a big issue, that they know who is in the country and if somebody's missing, to keep track of their compatriots. Yep. So you have been invited to this huge, grand feast in the Imperial Palace. You've been given a wooden kind of like ticket, as it were, with the chrysanthemum emblem that represents the throne of Japan. And you and Dottie have been invited. You've gone there. You have been led into this huge room. And there's a huge table that everybody's seated around. You see the ambassador, you see his wife, you see the ambassador of the UK, you see other people you will probably even have seen in the hotel, even maybe not to, talk to, but definitely to have seen. And at some point, the imperial family or parts of the imperial family are shown in. So it's Hirohito and his wife. And also, as the last person to enter, Sadako, the Empress Dowager. So she is the mother of Hirohito. And she holds a special place as well because she has given birth to a living god. Because in Japanese legend, the emperor is directly descended from Amaterasu, who is the sun goddess. And so the person who gives birth to the male heir to the throne has given birth to a living god. So that's special as well. You can make a roll on Japanologica if you like.
I will at least try. Oh God, here we belong together. Oh, this I was like, oh, that is low. And then, oh, low is good. Low is good. We're not
Low is
playing
very
D&D.
good.
17, that is a hard success.
Okay, so what you would have heard is as well that the Empress Dowager, named Sadako, or Sadako, I should say, is possibly a priestess, a Shinto priestess.
Okay.
And she also resides in a part of the imperial palace that is called the Four. So that I get it right, it is called the Three Palace Sanctuaries. That's the place where she resides. So I'm just going to share, for those who are interested, I'm just going to share a map of the Imperial Palace in Tokyo. And it looks pretty much the same even today. When you go there, that's what it looks like. It's also available in Legend Keeper for you to peruse at your leisure. And for our stream, this is what it looks like. So it's a very huge area surrounded by what is best described as a moat. And it's not just where they live, but there's also different houses where, for example, the Imperial Household Ministry resides. They are very influential because the emperor, as the son of a goddess, and back when he was very much in power, but they already had a parliament. So even back then, the Imperial Household Ministry had a lot of influence over the way the empire perceived their emperor. So basically they would pretty much control the everyday business that they would be running. They would be making all of the appointments. And here in the north west, you see the Three Palace Sanctuaries. This is where Sadako lives. And in the actual imperial palace, so if you like, in the center, this is where the imperial majesties, the emperor and his wife, live. And then you've got also other offices like the army staff office, the ministry departments, the barracks are also in this area. And the greens, the blue stuff is essentially, they've got a huge garden as well. It's really lovely. You would have seen some of this because you would have entered through this gate over here. And you would have been driven in here. So there's no way you could walk because they simply don't let people run around. So you would have been driven up here, you would have gotten out of your car here, and then you would have been led into one of the wings of the Imperial Palace. So very, very little walking, a lot of being driven around and being chaperoned. Also people standing unobtrusively in corners and eyeing what the gaijin are doing so that nobody actually maybe takes away one of the plates or something. You know a lot about art. You know a lot about household keeping. This is super ancient China. It's extremely thin, almost shines through. It's painted, it's gilded. So this is super expensive. I mean, it's not like eating from golden plates, but quite close. And you also are given a paper. Well, it's not just a simple paper. It's kind of like a little booklet which explains what will be today's food. So it's got like 12 different courses. And what you notice is it's all Western food or Westernized food. So it's not traditional Japanese food. Possibly due to a couple of reasons. Number one, not so many people back then, and even some people today, cannot really eat with chopsticks very well. It's an art. But also real traditional Japanese food, for those of you who don't know it, is something to get accustomed to. So there's quite a lot of raw stuff, even raw eggs. You know, you like it or you don't. And sometimes you just find stuff on your plate and you're not even sure Was this alive at some point?
Yeah.
Is this a sweet or is this a savory dish? If I poke it, will it move? And so in order to make sure that, nobody misbehaves, it's like roast, kind of like fowl, it's fish, it's no sashimi or anything. It's all grilled or cooked or whatnot. And you can see that you get normal cutlery as well. And of course, there's wine. And then there's dessert wine. And then there's aperitifs, not in that order, of course. So there's a list of everything. And you look at it and, it's like the best wines from France. So maybe even rivaling the excellent wines you would have gotten from the winery of Pamela Baxter Strauss's ex-husband, who's got a huge and really good winery. So we're talking the best of the best of the best, okay? And you actually are able to cherish this and also to appreciate it because of your upbringing, because of your background. And you have been seated between two men, obviously. So they're both Western looking. And then next to, let's say, to the man on your left sits Dottie.
Okay.
And I have been told that you usually try not to seat wife and husband near each other so they don't start quarreling. So roll a D100 for me, please.
That is a 58.
Okay. So, and what is your luck?
44.
Okay, so you
not
overrolled your luck. Okay, so now you can make a choice. Would you feel unlucky if the American ambassador was sitting next to you?
I don't think she would feel unlucky with anyone because
Okay.
she would just be curious to meet people. I think the only very unlucky thing, but that might be closer to a 100, is if a drunk, loud, highly annoying American would sit next to her. But that does not sound like anyone who would be invited, I think.
I think this would probably lead to a major diplomatic
Yes.
incident if one of your compatriots was going to get drunk in front of His Imperial Highness and wife and mother-in-law, or mother, actually. Okay, so let's say you are seated next to Colonel Francis Piggott, who is the British military attaché.
Okay, wait. Colonel
Francis, I'm going to put it into the Piggott, if you want to spell it, Piggot.
And he's sitting between Dottie and
Yes, he is
myself.
sitting between Dottie and you. He is, in my opinion, I don't know if, have you ever seen the Lord Peter Wimsey films okay, so that's what he looks like. He does look a lot like Lord Peter Wimsey.
Okay.
It says he's 38. I think he looks a lot older in the picture.
He
So I
looks
think that
much older.
I think it's more like
38.
30. It's more like
Yes,
58.
58.
He is he's the British military attaché.
The British military. Okay.
Okay, and he says, and of course, when you sit down, he gets up and he clicks his heels, not 3 times, only the once, and says, "Madam
Good
Piggott."
evening.
And he basically bows a little bit like, what's the name of your police officer?
Oh, God.
Yeah, exactly. He bows
Okay.
at the waist. And he doesn't salute, but he sticks out his hand. Do you shake it? Probably yes.
Baker. Nice to meet you.
The pleasure is all mine, Miss. He looks
Miss-
around.
Miss Baker.
Miss Baker. Do you introduce Dottie? Sergeant
She will.
Updike.
She Updike, because I have
Yeah.
these ones are somewhere
Sergeant
behind me.
Updike, yeah.
Updike. She would wait like a 1, 2, 3, just seeing if Dottie, or if A, he's turning to Dottie, or B, Dottie is saying
He
something.
waits for you to sit down.
Okay, I will plonk myself, and
Then
then
he
I will
turns around.
casually look over.
He turns around and he clicks his heels. He bows and he sticks out his hand. Pigott. And Dottie takes his hand. Williams. And he waits for Dottie to sit down. Dottie has
Good
been living with you
British
since
names.
before forever. She knows how this whole drill works. And once two ladies, his two table ladies, are seated, he sits down. And then he says, well, I take it you're from across the water.
I can't hide my accent, can I?
No, but there is nothing wrong with a good accent. So tell me.
You for sure are coming from the lovely British island, as far as I can hear.
It's His Majesty's pleasure to have sent me to the land of the rising sun.
Obviously military, right?
What gives it away? And then he's like, is it the moustache?
No, but the very well-behaved handling of yourself. And maybe a little bit of, the heels together, that, at least as far as I learned, is a very military thing. But very lovely to see. Well, she wanted to say cute. She was like, no, that would not be good to say.
So what brings you to this beautiful country?
Two things. Work. Well, business, as you men would probably say, and a little bit of pleasure, just traveling, learning new cultures. My father has partners here in Japan, and the very important things you would rather give people you trust instead of just sending them blindly by ship.
Well, that is very interesting. I mean, you see, I have recently returned, like I said, at His Majesty's request.
So you've been here before?
Oh, I grew up here. My parents, my father was in the diplomatic service of Her Majesty. And I just remember, no, it would have been Queen Victoria. She would have been around, she would have been around during Meiji, so he was here at Her Majesty's. Yeah, because she was, if he's 68 and we are in 33, if he's 58, then he was born in the last century, just like you. He's a lot older than you are, and he would have been...
Yeah, and she died 1901, right?
Yeah, so he would have been... Yeah, his father would have served under... in the diplomatic service of Her Majesty.
True.
So, yes, and then I served my country in the Great War in Egypt and France. And then I returned.
A lovely place as well.
Have you been?
Yes.
Oh, do tell. What did you enjoy most? And he makes sure that your glass is always topped with wine because you're his, and he makes sure that...
Yeah, and I think Alice would also include Dottie, so he's aware that just to be sure that he knows we with Miss Williams, and we traveled to Egypt for, how long were we there? 3-4 months?
Dottie would actually know the dates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and well.
Oh, really? That's a very long time. So you took in a whole season.
Yes, and well, the food is lovely, I have to say. But clearly the culture is really interesting. Not to only see a few things that you see in the museums in New York, where we are from, but really be out there seeing the pyramids and everything. that was really, really an adventure. She would just smile and wink over to Dottie.
I can imagine.
Adventure.
I mean, when the war was over, and basically, I went there for a little bit of R&R. I mean, the climate is very good for your lungs in winter, and I did do some sightseeing, and it is very impressive. It is very impressive. But
We've
now,
even seen crocodile from afar. That was something.
yeah, they are. I hear that hippopotami are even more dangerous than crocodiles. But yeah, it's and basically as the and he says, yeah, but once in the military, always in the military. So now I'm a British military attaché. As you know, some say that we are walking towards another war. Let's just hope that this isn't the case. The last one was bad enough.
Very true.
But tonight is not the night for these things. And basically, this is happening, and then you hear as one of the valets, they they have these staffs. Some of them, like in the where they then call everybody to attention, and then the Japanese master of ceremonies says, His Majesty, the Emperor of Japan. And everyone rises, also the ladies. And the Emperor walks in, and he looks, possibly like, he was always very small, and even for a Japanese man, he was quite small. And very thin as well. So if you didn't know who he was, he would not actually have been very eye-catching. So here's a picture of the emperor himself. And he is wearing full regalia. So he's wearing a military garb. And again, as you can see, and as you would know, this is very Western style. I mean, it doesn't look like a samurai or a traditional Japanese warrior at all. And his wife, the lovely Empress Nagako, she would be wearing a tiara, and she would also be wearing a star as kind of like her emblem as well. The two of them walk in, and then they stand, because then the Empress Dowager Sadako.
She is already there. She already entered the scene last session, because
so basically now we're
failed a power check when she entered.
Okay, so now imagine that this is now. So we're going back, because towards the end last time we didn't really have much time to, but they would all deserve a real.
Okay, because I only wrote down she was there, so I imagined him joining later, basically.
And basically she looks like that. So she is wearing completely traditional Japanese garb. Also with this, in order to get the hair like this, they actually put wood in there, apparently. So it's like a wooden headpiece that is then hidden by the hair, and wrapped around. And she, of course, has a fan. And then when she sits down, everybody else sits down. And then basically, it's like, so now there are the speeches commence. And everything is great, and thank you, and blah, and to a great relationship between all, and Handel durch Wandel, and
sharing. Just to remind you, I should not read what I'm reading.
You're not reading what you're reading.
No, I'm not sure if I should see all the details of the character, including secrets and so on.
Okay, that's
You
fine.
were sharing everything
Yeah.
just
Okay,
to make
that's
sure.
fine. You're a grown up. You will just ignore it.
Okay.
Yeah. And so basically, you failed your POW check.
Yes.
Okay.
And it felt, what was my last words? It feels like the mirror again.
It feels like the mirror again. So let's see how Dottie is doing, because she didn't do her POW check. But she has very high POW. She's a POW person. At least I thought she was. Oh yeah, her POW is 85. Oh, easy. She wrote a 08. That's a critical.
She is fine.
The thing is, she doesn't feel anything.
That's
So,
great.
no, she doesn't. I mean, yes, but no. The question is, how does it make you feel, this memory of the mirror?
Alice for sure is getting pale. And she will just grip on. We are standing, or
No, you're
we are
sitting.
still standing.
Well, as
When
we're
she
doing the POW
passes,
check, yeah,
by,
no, you're
yeah,
standing,
I would be
yeah.
because she's passing by. No, it's a question.
She wouldn't be parading. She would be.
Okay.
There's a door, and through which you would have come in through the side doors, really big doors. Interestingly enough, His Imperial Highness, his wife, and the Empress Dowager come through a fairly small door, which is more like, do you know these doors in palaces that almost look like they're part of the wall, so the wallpaper is over them?
Yeah.
So it's one of those.
More
which
like
is also
a secret side entrance,
Yeah.
more or less. Okay.
Exactly. So they come out really at the head of the table, whereas you had to go in
in.
and then,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are the tables, weird question, maybe not, are the tables like Western tables or Japanese low tables
It's
where you sit cross-legged?
Very good question. It's Western tables. You
Okay,
have
that's
a chair.
easier then, because Alice would turn pale and she would grab the edge of the table with both hands just to steady herself.
Okay. Colonel Piggott notices nothing. Let's see if Dottie notices anything. Spot hidden. 40. Yeah, she notices. And she... Okay. Okay, so I have to make a note, spot hidden, because I can't tick it on the... and she looks at you. But she doesn't really say anything.
No, it's not the time to say anything, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So Alice will hold on to the table and try to breathe calmly. In and out.
Okay, can you make another POW check to see does it work?
Probably not. Let's see. Let's try these ones.
No.
I'm closer to making it. That was a 60.
What is your POW
And
again?
I 55. So
okay.
I'm closer to
Yeah.
it, because I'm quite sure last time it was like an 80 or 90 value. It was high. But,
Okay, but
yeah, still not really.
But now actually you are very, let's say, you are relieved by the fact that you can all sit down now. So everybody's
Okay.
now sitting down because
just
Her
be the
Imperial
first-
Highness,
first
the
one to
Empress
sit.
Dowager, has also sat down.
plonk.
Okay, so now we have the speeches, and then the dinner commences. The food is, as one might expect, excellent. So I assume you make conversation with Colonel Piggott. Are there any things you would like to talk about in specifically?
Well,
I mean, he's
would
somebody you could talk to
use
Japan
him to explain the food, because in case, well, I would guess with all the international
No, it's
guests, they
Western
would
food.
it's Western food. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's Western food. Yeah.
Then yeah, she will talk about that they are planning to travel a little bit and also see a few things. What he would recommend maybe, and if there's anything in town that he would recommend that would be also fitting for two young ladies. Two ladies. And
Compared to him, you are young. You could be his daughter.
that is true. And just see what he would say.
Well, he would recommend definitely if the ladies are interested in buying cosmetics, he would definitely recommend Shiseido because that's where his wife shops. Obviously, shopping in Ginza was a thing back then, just as it is now.
Yeah, it's cultural things.
Then he would recommend the Kabuki theater, No theater. He would explain to you at length. Well, let me see. Would he explain to you at length? On an 84, he would, because you've hit it. This is one of his interests. He would tell you the difference between No and Kabuki and blah, 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 which is interesting. The cultural background is different. The way they sing is different. So you would learn now more about these two than you would have gotten from your reading. So the next time we encounter this, you would know most things about this. You wouldn't be surprised by most of these things at all. Okay. So he will also tell you the names of a couple of theaters. He actually at some point gets out a notebook and he writes them down with addresses. That's pre-Google, so you really needed this. He will also tell you that, for example, the fish market itself, which even today is a place where people go, was a good place to go back then. He will tell you that there are, again, you hear about the museums. You've already been told that, for example, where was it?
The one museum we've been, we will not go there again.
Do you tell him about it?
No.
No.
Well, we would tell about it that we were there, and because he would probably mention it, and we would just say, "Ooh, we've been there. This really and the lovely kimonos and."
He also tells you of the Museum of Arms in Tokyo, which is it's an army museum where they would keep old, arms. Then, of course, the Imperial Museum, which is the Museum of Natural Sciences. Incidentally, it's the one that we went to. Then, of course, the Meiji collection, which you will probably not, but that's the one where they basically found out that you were trying to steal from them. So go there. But he does recommend it highly, especially since they've got a really interesting collection of not new, but they have newly released a collection of Japanese paintings, and he says that he's been there like 4 times with his dear wife, and he basically, whenever he says my dear wife, he actually looks towards the area where she's sitting, because she's sitting at the other end of the table, essentially, probably talking to the American ambassador, and he basically recommends it as well, that this is this is a completely new, never before seen. And he also tells you that there are lots of art students going there and actually painting. And you walk away with a list of
things to
so the
visit
Meiji
and see.
Memorial Picture Gallery, and the Imperial Museum, the fishery, the harbor, and the fish. What do you call it? The fish market.
Yeah, it would be like market.
And he also tells you that these are just things that are relevant here in Tokyo, but he also tells you that Nagasaki is a really interesting place to visit. He recommends the Bund, which, as best as I can tell, is really like a promenade on the sea. and it's kind of like the sea-facing shore thingy. And being English, it probably reminds him of Brighton in a way. So yeah, it's like a sea bath thingy, and it's called the Bund. But then of course he also wants to know about you and your family. What do you tell him about your dad and about his business? Do you open up?
Yes, I open up. It's never bad to do some marketing,
Yeah. Yeah.
just to explain that the Baker family has business going and what we trade in, and that he's a long-time partner with Tanner Cars.
Yeah.
Tanner Cars. My brain is not too bad.
No.
And yeah, so that would be something. I think she hopes that he will maybe not be asking what she's doing. Because she knows that it's always a disappointment.
On a 77, no, he doesn't ask.
Okay. If not, she would give the proper answer.
But what he does tell you is that he went to the military academy with Prince Hirohito when he was still a prince. And he knows many members of the imperial family personally because they were cadets together.
What a life.
Yes. So I know Prince Fushimi, who is, and he points him out, he's also, not only is he a member of the royal family, of the imperial family, but he's the uncle of the current emperor. And there's also another one called Prince General Asaka. You don't need to write this down. It'll come up later. So, and these two, and he tells you, these two are both members of the military, and they seem to be on different tangents, kind of like, and he says, well, for us Westerners, it is sometimes a bit difficult to accept that we are now in the presence of a living God. But in the Japanese mind, this religious connotation of the emperor is a very real thing. And we all know that when religion and power meet, temporal power, that can sometimes lead in the wrong direction. And as you can imagine, there are factions. Some would like a stronger and even stronger earthly mandate for the heavenly emperor. And we can see it in the colonial policies that they are following. And you would know that at this moment in time, Japan has, there's no better word for it, invaded and annexed parts of China, parts of Korea.
Yeah.
And this is something that is known.
Yeah. Well, never underestimate the gods, eh?
Are you being funny? Are you saying it like with this face?
She would say it with this face, knowing well that Dottie knows the truth behind that.
Yes, I guess.
Well, they have a lot of, at least, deity-like things they believe in here. Not only she.
Oh, you mean the kami? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that is true. I mean, I have to say that this is one of the things that I found impossible to embrace in all my years here.
Well, nature is stronger than we all think. Never underestimate that.
I like that approach, Ms. Baker. I like that approach.
Would Alice know? Because also during this time, I suspect Japan would be, at least, is the question, is it known that there are earthquakes here? Because
yes,
also during that time,
the big
earthquakes
Kanto
would have been
one.
a thing. So, when the earth is moving this violently, some nature part is not happy with us, I suspect. It's easy to believe that part when everything is shaking. we are quite blessed that we don't have that either in New York nor in the UK. Or British Empire would it be in this case.
And then he says, well, there is this saying that magic is just technology we haven't understood yet, and everything that is divine is just nature that hasn't been grasped.
That sounds quite logically. I think in the small talk, Alice would also ask a few questions about. I think Alice would be surprised why the emperor and also the others are not wearing kimono or anything classical Japanese, but more it looks like they took one of the other military suits and just adapted it a little.
Yeah, that is a very astute observation, especially when we compare it to Her Imperial Highness, the Dowager Empress.
Honestly, the Japanese clothing looks much more impressive than just another military garment. Not to be against military garments, but
Quite right. Well,
even the highest rank does not really stick out as being special clearly on signs, numbers, medals. You can see it if you know what you're looking for. But if someone without knowledge looks, it's military.
well, I would say that basically, everybody had their Egyptian phase in the UK.
That's true.
So now they are in their Western phase. Okay. For them, it's very exotic.
I can imagine. So it is kind of special because not everyone can wear it.
And you do notice that there are plenty of, he has pointed out the two princes, and they also wear military garb. Okay, they are officers, but still, he is an officer, he's a colonel, but he's wearing he's wearing a dinner jacket. He's not wearing military garb or even his gala uniform. Yeah. He says, well, it's, Miss Baker, as you can imagine, being a lady, dress is a weapon.
That is very true.
And then he looks at both you and Dottie and he says, you know how they say that there is the speech of flowers and the language of fans? Mm-hmm. In a time where a country is trying to assert its place on the global stage, it is very important to watch what the higher-ups are saying, but also, more importantly, what they are wearing.
Very true.
And and so basically the evening passes, and then I would say I think the evening started at around 6. So after about 3 hours or so, it's like the time when the desserts are served and dessert wine is made available, and then you are all asked to leave. So it's kind of like really now, first of all, the Empress Dowager leaves as the first person to go, then the imperial couple, and then everyone is, the doors are opened at the far end, and then people start filing out. And the colonel bows to you and to Dottie, and he says, at your service.
The lovely evening, and greetings to your lovely wife.
He smiles and he says, well, I do hope that we will meet again. I am also, I don't live in the Imperial Hotel. I live in the house that belonged to my parents. But if you, I have my office in the Imperial Hotel. So if you ever need anything, you know where to find me.
Let's hope I do not, but maybe we will meet just by accident.
Well, maybe you just need some company for a drink. And he smiles.
That might be an option. Have a lovely evening.
Have a lovely evening, you two. And he basically bows to you and to Dottie, and he takes his leave. And then it is your turn to be chaperoned out, but
Yes.
you notice that you're not being shown to the door that you came in, but quite subtly, you are put into a side chamber where there are 2 chairs. And it's a very, it's again Western chairs, but this is more of a Japanese room, kind of like Zen-like, with a couple of sprigs of flowers that are placed there in such a way that it looks like this was done by chance, but you know that somebody took great pains to make it so that the sprigs are oriented in such a way, and that, so nothing is left to chance in this room.
Yeah.
And then in comes a young woman in Japanese garb. And she smiles at you, and she says to you in very broken English, please follow me this way. And she opens a small side door.
I will look at Dottie with a raised eyebrow. Very skeptical look.
How does Dottie feel about this? On her 14, on her power check, she's fine. And on her sanity as well. And she's like, I don't know. I mean, normally I would say you have a suitor, but the person we were talking to all evening is A, married, and B, has already left the building. But maybe one of the princes is looking for a princess. And she smiles wickedly.
Or a princess in you, darling, because we are equal here. Remember that?
Well, she is a beautiful woman. We are in agreement about that. And the young woman holds the door for you.
While we slowly walk towards the door, but something is up here.
How do you mean?
Remember our mirror experience?
Yes, it's hard to forget. I nearly died.
I had the same feeling when Her Highness entered the room.
What?
You did not?
No. I felt nothing. Not anything. Well, apart from relaxed and enjoying our conversation, because I think the Colonel is quite the conversationalist. Very polite and very interesting
nice.
Stories.
Yes, so just keep eyes and ears open.
I will.
I will not grab a hand, because I think that would be unfitting for the time. I will just hook myself in.
Okay, so basically you follow this young girl, and she leads you outside where there is a limousine parked with a driver who is standing next to it, and he's holding the door for you. Do you get in? You're still on the grounds of the Imperial House.
I would look at the servant. We would need at least a hint on what is happening here.
Oh, I've been tasked... well, basically, she doesn't talk like this because her English is really bad. I've been tasked with showing you to the shrine. You can make a Japanological roll now, and Dottie will as well. Oh, no, 66, she knows nothing.
I have a 40, which I will give to luck, so I have a normal success.
You know that this girl is dressed like a Miko. And Mikos are shrine maidens.
Yeah. Okay, well, shrine won't hurt. Thank you.
Okay. So
Alice would bow a bit and would say arigato gozaimasu for the information.
And she bows as well. She bows so deeply, you just wonder, one of these days her discs will slip.
Donk.
And you get into the car, and
You
she also
get
gets
into
into
the
the car
car.
with you, because it's one of the ones of these limousines where you can sit across from each other. So Dottie and you are on one seat, and she's sitting across from you. The the what do you call it? The chauffeur closes the door, and he basically takes you to. You drive around in the car, and it doesn't take long. Maybe like, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. It's like a really short trip, and you arrive at this place. It's the 3 palace sanctuaries.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically, let's say, park where my mouse is. Okay?
Yep.
And then you're led across here. It's again, you needn't hardly walk. It's like, I don't know, 5 steps. And you walk up this staircase made of wood. It's a wooden structure. And then you are in an antechamber where you are asked to remove your shoes, which, does happen.
know.
So this
Yeah.
is now a super traditional Japanese place with tatami mats and everything. And is it called Genkan, the place where you enter? I think it's called Genkan. That's
I
the
think it's
step.
Genkan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're in the Genkan, you take off your shoes, and then you're led in. You know all this because this is Japan 101. And you would have known it also from the Tanaka's place, because, they would have had a Genkan as well where you had to leave your shoes and everything. And then you are led into a shrine. So this is essentially a shrine as you know it, as you would have seen it, and as it's in the books. And then the shrine maiden points to 2 cushions on the ground and asks you to sit down. And then she leaves. And
while we wait, at least Alice would have a look around on what we see around us, because shrines usually have some beautiful.
Yes. So since this is a Shinto shrine, there is kind of like a little house, like the one where the kami is enshrined, which is closed. You also see those typical things like, that there's an altar. There are the things that you put on the altar. There is a basket for offerings, not like the big ones, but just a small one. And they also have those wooden plaques that people write their wishes on, and they, like hang them there and stuff. So it looks like in spite of the size of the room, it looks like a small shrine. So the room is huge, but it's like, maybe this is more a family thing.
So this would be usually the part where if you pray, you would be standing in front of it, bowing, clapping, throwing in the money.
That's the one, yeah.
Would we have any ideas if it would be rude to pray or rude not to pray? Since we were placed to sit, I don't think they would expect us to do.
That is a very good point. You think that they would not expect you to do, because, as you rightly point out, first you go in, you do the clapping, you do the bowing for the, basically you clap so that the kami knows you're there, and then you bow so that the kami is getting the respect that they deserve. The fact that they asked you to sit down, that's weird, because that's more a ceremonial thing. Because usually you don't sit unless there are some ceremonies, but you wouldn't know about those because...
I think then Alice, if it would be fine, Alice would ask the girl before she leaves if it would be okay to give a short prayer to the kami. Because what we learned, they are there. Don't anger them.
On a 21, she is surprised at your astuteness because she doesn't really expect this from a Westerner to ask this question, and then she smiles. And says, "Oh, please." And she kind of like makes a motion
Alice
that
would open her purse, grab some coins, would just hand over a few coins to Dottie. And then we would do like I think it's 2 bows, 2 claps, or
I think it's 2 claps, 2 bows, and then another clap when you're finished, or another bow when you're finished. It's the 2-2-1 rule or whatever.
Yeah, it's 2-2-1. I think it's bowing, clapping, and at the end bowing, I think. And but we would know because we've been to the other shrine and we know kamis are real, so we would do that. And in mind, at least, Alice would send out, "We are thankful to be here, hope you're doing well." And then we would clearly sit down.
Okay, you sit down. During this time, the girl has already left, and then some time passes. And then a door opens, and in walks Sadako, the Empress Dowager.
Alice will just basically take a deep bow.
Okay, so you get up and you bow.
Yeah, and bow and give the greetings that we know. I'm not sure if konnichiwa is still on trend or not, or it's because konbanwa is it good evening or is it good night?
Evening. It's good evening.
Oh, then it would be konbanwa at this time of day for sure.
And the Empress Dowager does not bow, obviously.
Obviously.
I mean, she gave birth to a living god. You are a mere mortal. And then, I mean, I always feel that with this really white face paint, it's almost paint. It's not even just makeup anymore. It kind of gives, especially with the hair pulled back, it gives some women, especially when they're older, a very stern look. Although they may not mean to look stern, to me, as a Westerner, it does look stern. So she gives this, and of course they usually have dark eyes, and of course she has dark brown eyes, and I would also say that she knows how to make an entrance. So she wants to present herself in a certain way, and the way that it comes across is imposing, and also like, well, which she does. I own this place.
Yeah.
So here's a very powerful woman who knows her place, and she knows your place in the grand scheme of things. And then
we are worms compared to her.
Indeed. And the thing is, she basically says something in Japanese to the Miko who came back in. And this girl bows deeply and leaves. And then the Empress Dowager just looks at you and says nothing. And
we would definitely still be standing. We would not sit down, except she would give us the sign to do so.
And
in thoughts, Alice is like hoping that the kami will be happy with what we do.
And yeah. Can you do a roll, please, for me?
Yes.
On Japanologica.
Okay. That is a failure. That is a 79.
Okay, good. Okay, so you do not know. Okay. And then the door opens one more time, and in comes another Miko girl. Different, definitely. And now you can make a spot hidden. 32. She sees everything.
I see nothing. That is an 89.
Okay, because she's got a hard success because she's 77 and she rolled a 32. You see that Dottie reacts to this young woman. And then this young woman turns to you and speaks to you in perfect American English. And you notice
Then.
it is Akane Minami. And she says, the Empress Dowager welcomes you to her residence. She has asked me to intercede as her translator. Her Imperial Highness, Mother of the Divine Emperor of Japan, does not speak your language. Nor does she need to.
Alice would just bow and nice to meet you again.
And then Sadako speaks. Her voice is interesting because although, I mean, at this stage, she's in her 60s, she doesn't have an old woman's voice.
Okay.
Her voice is clear. It doesn't have the gravel of age at all. And it's a very strong voice. But very, how shall I say it? It's a very feminine voice. So very melodic. And she speaks Japanese, of course. And she looks at you. And you can tell that she's somebody who is used to being translated for, because she just assumes that Akane is going to just keep up with her. And Akane keeps up with her. And she doesn't wait for her to finish. So it's not consecutive, but it's simultaneous translation. And she says... And let me see if she's astute enough. Yeah, she is. Basically, really good translators don't say the Empress Dowager says, but she says I when the Empress Dowager refers to herself. So in this case, we, of course, the royal we have seen you, Miss Baker. You have been through the mirror, as have we. Have you not?
Constitution save. No. Would Alice be honest about that?
Yes. It's now the question, isn't it? Are you a liar? Will you lie in the presence of the divine?
She is a liar, for sure,
Yeah,
if
yes,
she
you are a
wants
liar.
to. So it really depends if she wants to be honest or not.
It's up to you.
I think Alice would give the answer that was a long time ago.
The Empress Dowager looks at you and she says, behind the mirror, time has no meaning. It's just on this side of the mirror. But you remember it. I can see it in your eyes and I can feel it. It's in you.
I think Alice would just look over at Dottie. It was one of the worst days of our lives.
And she now looks at Dottie as well and she says, yes, but you lived through it. Not many can say that. Most that enter do not return. I, too, have been through the mirror. Some say that I am the mirror. Of course, that is highly exaggerated. Let us just say that I have a very close relationship with the mirror. And it allows me to see things, to hear things, past and present, and sometimes things of the future. And it is this future that concerns me. I am the mother of His Divine Imperial Highness, which gives me power. Yet I am a woman, and in this world, in this age, in this land, I am confined to these walls. My power is a power of the mind, not of physicality. I need you to be my eyes and ears, to find out what is happening outside of these walls.
Looking over to our translator, you are outside of the walls. You should be able to give her the information.
The translator translates, and Her Royal Highness, Her Imperial Highness, looks at you and she says, "This one has not been in the mirror. She lacks the important skills and the important knowledge that only you have."
Alice will just give the answer. We've seen nothing that she would not have seen as well. Pointing to Akane again.
But you will. And she turns around.
Oh, but you will. That's a good thing.
She turns around, and now she opens the closed shrine and steps aside. And I mean, it is small. It is probably opened up as wide as my screen, so 80 centimeters in the diagonal, and you see a picture. If I can share my screen, anyone can see. You see this. So for those who are listening, I'm just going to describe it. It is a huge painting of a water landscape with plenty of fish-like creatures that wield weapons like sabers and katana. And there's also a huge dragon, an Asian dragon, that is basically riding the waves. And in the left corner, there is a woman who is holding a human woman, it looks like. She's holding a knife in one hand, or a longish knife in one hand, and a round object in the other. There are also some tentacles in the picture. And you can now make a Japanologica roll. Dottie knows nothing.
Oh. I Oh God, math again. I have a critical failure. I rolled a 100.
You know
Always
nothing.
like a 10. Oh no, it's 100.
Okay, you
I
don't
know
know
nothing.
this. You know nothing. But she says, this is the goddess Ama. Or rather, it is the story of Tamamo, who is a pearl diver. And she rescued a jewel from a sea serpent. It was a divine jewel that had come from the stars. Now, I and my whole family am descended from this woman. I am the priestess of the jewel of the Dragon Palace. A very powerful kami resides in this here shrine. So you see, my son is not the only one with a divine spark. But something is happening. My dreams are always of water, which, given my heritage, is probably understandable. But more recently, they have been of fire, of a great conflagration that is going to consume all. It is going to consume this land, whose faith I ward. And I cannot let that happen. Unfortunately, there are forces at work which are quite temporal rather than divine, that are trying to change the order of things for their own betterment, for their own gain. And it is sad for me to have to say this, that the danger is coming from my own family. If it goes unchecked, Japan will be no more the land that we know now. It needs to be stopped. If not for my sake, then for the sake of every man, woman, and child who resides here. But it takes someone who has seen beyond the veil, who has jumped through the mirror and experienced the other side, to understand and to prevent. And you are that one. You and you are the ones.
Alice would just give the very careful answer. We are just strangers here. We know nothing, or almost nothing, about anything here. We do not know many people. We don't have contact to high ranks. we will be just as useless and helpless as any other women around here. Or even more.
No, you
Because-
will not. Because you have been through the mirror. And you are a gaijin. Your sins will be forgiven. People will expect you to trespass.
And throw us into jail or kill us for that.
You need not worry. The
I've
jail
been there
thing
before.
is highly unlikely. I'm not saying that you may not going to die, but everybody is at some point. And Akane here will be with you. all
She
the way.
knows we are close to jail already.
She has told me, and it has amused me. It was quite a stunt.
She does not know the full picture or the full story behind it. It was necessary to save people from a very angry kami.
I know all about it. The kitsune has been talking to me. When I said I was of divine descent, I wasn't exaggerating. I'm not a kami myself. I would not dare call myself that, but I know them, especially the ones in Tokyo. You did a very good thing. I was very impressed. It shows me not only have you been through the veil, but you have a certain sensibility.
Can I ask why you did not help? The kami suffered so loudly.
It is
It
the
would
one...
have been easy to send messages.
You see, we hope that mankind learns.
You are mankind.
We hope that people will do the right thing. I think the case of the kitsune has shown us that they don't. So I'm here to prevent even worse. I know that you have an interesting connection to the gods.
Yeah, and
You
not
do
a
not
good
like
one.
them,
No,
but they like you.
they are selfish and they like to get humans to do the dirty work for them.
You know that you are beloved of the gods? I have never
highly
met a
doubt
mortal that has had so many interactions with so many different gods as you have.
And it has rarely been a good one.
I think the one or the other god may have
Although-
learned something from you.
Our cat goddess is not a goddess, right?
No, she's not. She is
something different.
older
So
than all of the gods.
I have to say, the only one who was bearable, no, not bearable, she was really lovely, was, and if I would know the name of our cat goddess, like
Ulthar.
Ulthar, thank you.
Ulthar, who reigns Ulthar. Yes.
Yeah. She was the only really nice one. And I understand, honestly, the kami. I understand why they did what they did. I take no blame on them. It was nice from them to wait and see what happens.
And you brought this about. Again, like I said, you have the sensibilities. So I am tasking you with this. Find out what Fushimi is up to. He's my nephew, Prince Fushimi, head of the Navy. You saw him tonight. I understand he is financing an expedition. I want to know why. I want to know where this expedition goes and what its goals are.
Alice is so close to making the next one angry.
Okay. Okay. What is it this time?
The thing is, at least at the moment, Alice would look over to Dottie. Because Alice would be shaking her head. We are here on vacation. I am not a peasant worker for someone, no matter which level. Or, wait, the answer would be, no, Alice would look at, and what would be our payment for that? I am a detective, I'm up for hire, obviously, together with my partner, but we
you
will
want
not work
money?
for free. That never hurts.
All expenses paid, and when you are done, you send me a bill.
And we could use a translator.
Akane? Would Akane suit?
She's perfectly well to translate. And she knows that we are trouble, so she's already warned.
Even at this, she doesn't even smile. She's not uncharming. She's just super stern. Then we have an agreement.
Akane will know how to contact you if we have to.
She will. And I will make sure that you get access to my nephew. He will be expecting you at some point. You will be a reporter. He is very, what's the word? And Akane thinks he is very vain.
That's usually the easiest one to get.
And at that, even Her Imperial Highness cannot hide a smile. He is just my nephew.
And he's just a man. Because he would not be of God. He would be a man in view of, right?
This is the thing. If she says that all of her family are descended from this god, then he's kind of a god, but he is not the descendant of the sun goddess. So he's
just a man.
He's just a man. Yes,
a high-ranking man.
A
but
high-ranking
he's just
man. Yeah. Okay, and his name is. I'm gonna type it into the chat so that we all have it right. His name is Prince Fushimi. And she also asks. She points to a little table and like a side table. And Akane goes there and she picks up a piece of paper which she then hands to you. And this is handout number 1. It's exhibit number 1, Your Honor. And I'm going to share it with you, plop, so that you can read it now. It's also in Legend Keeper. And this is it. It is a clipping from the Tokyo Sun, an English-speaking newspaper. Fukuchi of Tokyo Geographical Society to lead expedition to Ponape Island. The eminent geologist Dr. N. Fukuchi of the Tokyo Geographical Society has announced his intention of visiting the South Seas island of Ponape. The expedition will perform a geological survey of the island. It will also map the mysterious ruins of Nanmadol, Accompanying Dr. Fukuchi are geologists from the Tokyo Imperial University and 2 Imperial Navy divers. The exhibition is made possible by a generous grant from Prince Admiral Fushimi Hiroyasu, uncle of the emperor. It is expected that the expedition will depart Tokyo within a few weeks. Hold on, if he's the uncle, then he's the cousin of the mother, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's her cousin. Sorry. Uncle of the emperor. It is expected that the expedition will depart Tokyo within a few weeks, traveling first to Okinawa by NYK ship. From Okinawa, the expedition will travel to Ponape aboard the research vessel Haru Kazemaru. A reception at the Imperial Palace is planned to honor Dr. Fukuchi. All wish him great success on his voyage. And the Empress Dowager says, you will, of course, be invited to this reception. It's going to take place in 3 weeks. You have 3 weeks to find out what is going to happen. And I've also secured passage on this ship.
Perfect, then we don't have to fight our way in.
And then she claps her hands and the door is opened and there is somebody standing there, maybe a Miko, maybe a valet, and she leaves. And Akane stands in front of you and she says, I won't be wearing this though.
You can wear whatever you like.
Good. Walking in this is hell. It's heavy.
Can we leave now?
Yeah. And she basically goes to the door. She opens the door to the shrine. There's a limousine waiting outside. Where would you like to go? The limousine will take you anywhere within the Tokyo city limits.
Well, obviously to the hotel. It's time to go to bed. It's late.
She nods. She somebody's holding the door, the driver. You get in. She says,
How can we contact you if we need help?
well, I will come to the hotel tomorrow morning.
Okay.
I will take rooms there.
Then we meet maybe for breakfast. Or lunch,
Good idea.
whatever suits you better.
And she waits for the car to depart, and then when you look outside, you see that she withdraws into the shrine and closes the door.
Mm-hmm. And we will be brought back to the hotel.
You go back to the hotel, and you get your keys, because back then you had keys and you had to hand them in and stuff, and you go to your room. So what do you want to do? You've been given the piece of paper. You've got the newspaper clipping.
Alice's initial idea is to down a bottle of alcohol and just pass out. She will not. She will still pour herself, although we already had quite a bit of alcohol for dinner and so on, eh?
You had some alcohol, but obviously nobody was getting drunk.
Much. It was more like a little bit for this, a little bit.
It was like probably 3 glasses of wine, one with each course, and then like whatever the aperitif of the day was.
And they would fill it up also, not like a full glass, more like the decent ones.
Yeah.
She would definitely, because also here in the rooms, I would guess there would be something like... Would there be a little bit like a bar? I'm not sure. I don't think there would.
There is a mini bar kind of thing.
Okay. She would definitely fill up, not a big drink, just like a finger of something. Would look at Dottie if she wants some as well.
Dottie declines.
And then Alice would just probably fling her shoes somewhere just to get more comfortable. and would plonk herself in a chair and put her feet up. I did not intend working here, really. I was
Dottie
this
plonks down on the sofa.
close to tell her off and be like, find a servant, because I'm not.
What is it with you and gods?
Well, she already knows that I don't care for God, so it's quite difficult. Why should we care? I cared for the kids, honestly, because the kids were falsely attacked. If the kami would have gone for the parents, honestly, I'm not sure if I would have even stepped in.
Yeah, well, I think that we're now in this.
Oh, at least we will save some money.
I was very surprised. You've never ever asked anyone for money with regard to the gods. You always just do it for free. So, hey, good for you. And you were talking to almost like a living god.
She's not a god. She's just a woman with special abilities.
What do you think her abilities actually are?
Honestly, if she has contact with the mirror, it's not a good thing. So honestly, I'm not sure if she is the problem in all of this. So I will very carefully look into all things.
All right.
Not
then I
that
suppose.
Prince Fushimi is doing the right thing and she wants to stop it because it would hurt her abilities. Because that would fit for a god.
That is so true.
Clearly not involving Akane. I also don't want her around every day and all the time. We will ask her just to join when we need her.
So you think she might be
Well, she's
spying
spying,
on us?
obviously. She can't be closer to the Empress.
Yeah, you're right. She's probably quite close to her because she didn't strike me as a Miko.
No. Also, if she would just be a servant, she would live in the palace and not outside.
I wonder. You know how this works, don't you? We should definitely research that Empress Dowager.
We will have to research and get information on everyone involved, just to know who are the players and what is really happening, because honestly, so far I haven't given much thought about it, because it's not important for us. So the question is if tomorrow after breakfast we will tell Akane to have a nice day, because we will do research in peace and quiet, and maybe we do visit our newly met friend, kind of, Colonel Piggott.
That's a good idea because, I mean, he grew up here. He knows the family personally.
Yes.
And he knows about politics
Yes.
and about the Navy.
True. And I haven't put much idea in it yet, but it's easy enough to get the idea of after this. It just, well, it's making us just curious to learn more and understand more.
Yes.
Because we were not expecting to be part of any banquet. And honestly, we can even tell him that there will be a reception in 3 weeks. We are invited and we are just very curious to learn more, especially about him, because he is a benefactor of it. Just to understand what and why.
The lay of the land, to understand
Yes.
the background. Yes, of course, that's a... Well, Alice, you're just the best.
Well, it's a job for us too. And
Of
I
course.
think we were just lucky that we were seated next to the right person.
She looks at you and then she looks away and she says, Was it luck?
Yes. Obviously. Or Ultha is looking upon us and helping. I would take that as well.
And then she thinks about the cat. Your cat. Your both your cat.
No, it's Dottie's.
Maeve.
It has always been Dottie's.
Yeah, Maeve the Great will basically say, I am no one's cat. You are both my servants, and I like that one better who pays the cheese tax.
Dottie.
Yeah, she's with Teresa in New York, isn't she? Okay,
She's
so then
with
please
Teresa
roll a
in New
luck, make a luck check.
We decided not to take her. Because on that long of a trip,
Yeah.
also, I'm not sure what Japan would... Honestly, during that time, I don't think they would care. If you pay enough, you could probably bring a tiger into the country. I'm not sure. No luck.
No luck. Okay,
Far
good.
from having luck. 67.
It says, ding dong.
I'll go to the door, drink at hand, just opening it.
There's a Japanese bellhop who has an envelope. Miss Baker, for you.
Yeah. Konbanwa. Thank you. Good evening. Wait a second. I will go back, put the glass down, get a little bit of money out and give him a little bit of a tip for it. And we'll take whatever he hands me.
It looks like it's an envelope. Probably it looks like the envelopes that you usually get with telegrams.
Okay. Thank you.
He bows, leaves. You take the envelope. You open it.
Yeah.
I
will plonk myself next to Dottie that we can read it together.
It's from Pamela.
Oh.
Matthew is getting divorced. Stop. Moving back to New York. Stop. Thought you would know. Stop. Pamela. No, sorry, not thought you would know, thought you should know.
Pamela would know. Yeah, clearly. She sent it to us. She knows where we are. So.
And that's why I asked if you would have patched up things with her, and you said you did, and that you also would have kept in touch.
I think also at the hotel downstairs we could, as usual, give answers.
Yes.
Back to.
It's the Imperial Hotel.
Did Pamela have an apartment in New York?
Yes, she has a big apartment. She has an apartment in Montreal, and she has a pad in London.
But she said, if I listened correctly, she's heading to New York, right?
He is heading to New York.
He is
moving back to New York because he was in San Francisco.
Yeah, he literally moved away as farthest away from Alice as he could.
Or from Pamela, because he was her boyfriend at the time. Well, I mean, he dumped her.
Well, the question is, where is Pamela? Where do we send an answer to?
Well, you would assume that she is probably on the North American continent. Given what time of year is it?
That's a good question. Did we?
I think we said it was summer or spring. It's more like it's not winter, is it?
We would not be here in winter time. I can't imagine.
In which case,
it would be, I think spring probably.
In which
spring
case, you would be in New York.
Okay.
Because it's usually when New York gets really hot in summer that she goes to Montreal. But I'm not even. Is Montreal a lot colder in summer than New York? Would you think it's colder? It's further north.
A little bit, but not
But not much. Yeah.
Not
So
much.
basically,
Just in winter, it's really, really.
okay, so winter, spring, she would definitely not be in Canada.
Yeah, Montreal or Montreal is snowy and freezing as heck.
Yeah,
So
so she won't
basically,
be there.
in Montreal, you don't want to be in wintertime. You want
Yeah.
to be there probably summer to fall, maybe.
Yeah, didn't they have Winter Olympic Games in Montreal? They did, didn't they? So yeah,
Yeah,
it would
it's the
be
city
cold.
that lives under Earth, basically, because in summer it's warm and in winter it's so freaking cold that you don't want to be outside.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, no, she's not in Montreal. She's in
Okay.
New York.
She's in New York and she would be heading out to Montreal in summertime, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Alice will be like, okay, I will just quickly go down and send her an answer.
All right. I'll be here when you get back.
I will get shoes on again and I will take the last sip out of my glass and I will walk downstairs and no, I will write on a piece of paper up there and I will just hand out the answer where it needs to go to and that, well, it would be nice if it's been done at least within the next 24 hours.
Oh, they have a 24-hour service. It's
Okay,
the Imperial
perfect.
Hotel. It's where the embassies sit.
And the answer would be like, thanks for the information. Good luck to grab him. Japan is lovely. Miss you. Kisses, Alice.
Okay. You send it off. Okay. And then you go
And
back
then-
to the room.
I will go back upstairs and I could imagine Dottie already starting to get ready to go to bed. And
Yeah.
I think Alice would join just to get makeup off the face, brush teeth, get into nightgown, and just face plant into bed.
Okay, so you face plant into bed. Make a luck roll to see if you suffocate because you're sleeping with your face on. No. On the pillow. It's like, okay. And the heroine died. And
In
basically.
the stupidest way ever,
In the
which would be
stupidest
very
way
fitting
ever.
for a Cthulhu game.
Yeah. So you wake up the next morning. There is an alarm clock. It's named Dottie. She is kind of like a little TikTok clock that basically decides when we wake up. Because this time round, nobody's making breakfast because you're going to go down for breakfast. So it's different. So you get ready, you go down for breakfast. And Dottie has already made a little list of things that you wanted to do. You wanted to research the Empress Dowager. You wanted to research the Prince Fushimi. And you also want to make Colonel Francis Piggott your first port of call because of his background. And she tells you that, well, and you know, because he told you that his office is in the
Office
Imperial
is-
Hotel.
So we would go to the reception just to
Oh,
ask.
Miss Baker, here's a telegram for you.
Oh, thank you.
We didn't want to bring it upstairs last night because it came in like 4:00 in the morning. We thought that this might be a little bit too
Time
early.
different to the States. Thank you so much. It was nothing urgent. And she will have a peek at it. What is Pamela answering?
I would rather cut off my right hand than take him back. It's great that you're enjoying yourselves. Hugs and kisses, Pam.
Okay, Alice will write another answer back because what costs money? Because the telegrams must be really expensive.
And what do you say?
The answer will be he's still a good nugget.
There was you who was so upset when he dumped Pamela that you're now telling her to take him back?
Stupid
That's
men
interesting.
learn things the hard way. No.
Okay.
No, I think the answer would be we will see where it goes. If you see him, greetings. Enjoy New York. And we will have presents when we return. And
Okay.
Alice. And then at the reception, still standing, what I actually wanted, is there any chance you could send a message to the office of Colonel Piggott?
Of course, madam. What would you like me to send?
Asking if he has time for us in the next few days, whenever it suits him, obviously.
I shall do that, and I will ask for the reply to be sent to your room.
Thank you. Or we will go breakfast now, so depending on how quick the answer is.
Of course, madam. Enjoy your breakfast.
Thank you. And we will go for breakfast.
Okay. And then Dottie looks at you and she's like, so Matthew's free again. And it looks like Pamela doesn't want him.
I'm not taking him.
All
Why
right.
would I?
And she does a good impression of your mother. The spark in his eye.
There is no spark in his eye. He lost all sense of anything by this marriage and moving to the West Coast.
But will you make up with him now that he's closer to you?
It depends on what he does. He burned a lot of bridges. A lot of bridges.
So he'll have to come groveling back.
Well, at least he shows guts to come back home, because he's clearly not welcomed by a lot of people there.
You will make the first step, right?
I'm not there. Why should I do a first step?
But when you're back, you will. I mean, Pamela didn't tell you that he was coming home for nothing. She's excited at the prospect of Matthew Gregory returning to New York, and she realizes you are not.
If you want to meet him for a coffee, feel free to.
He's not gonna want to meet me.
Well, maybe he will, just to be curious on what is happening, but I will not approach him.
Alice, this is.
Honestly, we don't even know when we will return there. Maybe he married another one and moved away again. We will see when we get back.
29, she can take that.
I will for sure not get gifts for him.
Take the knife, drive it in, and then twist it. Poor Dottie.
He took the knife and burned himself. And all the bridges.
That's a mixed metaphor. He took the knife and burned himself.
That's the one thing that Alice and Pamela clearly can stand next to each other agreeing on. He's just not worth it.
Dottie still thinks that you and him would be the perfect match. Now that he's no longer interested in Pamela, you would be the perfect match.
Well, the problem is Alice already knows that her mother will pull the same card as soon as she gets
Having
home.
said this, now that he has taken the faux pas of marrying outside of society...
That gave a big minus to the list. That's
Absolutely,
true.
absolutely. And the fact that he basically announced it her parents announced it like 4 weeks ahead of time, or 6 weeks, where she was in Miami at the time. She couldn't even make preparations.
True.
So I think Matthew Gregory is nowhere near her list anymore. She's got a long list. Having said this, no, the list is getting shorter by the year because all of the eligible bachelors have already got married. So now she's at the bottom of the list where the hardly eligible bachelors are located. But he's not even on that list.
Okay, I will turn around. I will go to the reception again, be like, sorry, for a piece of paper, and I will write to my parents.
Dear Mum and
Dear
Dad.
Mum and Dad, enjoying time in Japan, currently in Tokyo.
Yep.
Tokyo. And the Tanaka family is lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is well. And hugs and kisses, Alice. And P.S. Mom, Matthew's back. In NYC. Enjoy. And
Okay.
she would have that sent out, because then Mom can have her fun with the social talking about having a peek, probably making Matthew's mother's life miserable, and we will leave it with that. And then we will go for breakfast.
Do you tell Dottie?
Yes.
Dottie looks at you. And she says,
Without hesitation.
you are so mischievous.
The one time I can make a gift for my mom that she will really enjoy.
She will definitely enjoy this. I mean, seriously?
Honestly, I wrote a message to my parents that I'm doing well.
Oh, I commend you for that.
See?
That absolutely, Alice. I've actually bought a couple of really, really lovely black and white painted postcards for your mother. So we're going to sign one of those and send it as well because it looks good.
Okay.
We will just. I mean, it's called Impressions of Old Tokyo. Of Old Tokyo. So you can just basically, and I've dug one out that shows the Imperial Palace Gardens. So you can even say you were there. It's an original painting, black and white. What's tusche in English? Ink on paper, ink on canvas.
Yeah, it would be ink in this case.
Ink on canvas.
Although tusche is not ink, tusche would be watercolor.
Oh, Tusche ist nicht Tinte. Okay, okay, there you are. Watercolor, a black watercolor on canvas.
Yeah.
Okay. And and then you have breakfast. It's great breakfast. You can have whatever you like. Full English, full Irish, full whatnot, continental.
I'm corrected. Tusche is ink.
Okay, but why is it they're not called ink?
That is a good question. But tusche is tinte. Whatever, it's not called tinte. Ah, it's made differently.
Aha. So it's not made from octopi.
It's made out of pigments. It's higher pigmented, and you can get it in different colors. Okay.
So higher pigmented means it's kind of like thicker. So the color is darker or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
more if you put it on paper, it's not as transparent. I'm learning new things here.
Well, gaming with us is always educational for everybody. Stream, remember, tusche is tinte, but different.
I never... Okay, now I'm curious about all my inks, if they're really inks or not. Because I don't think they make a difference in English with that. That would be something.
That would be interesting to find out. We shall research this. Okay, so basically there's great breakfast. Do you have breakfast or do you just sip your coffee?
I will sip my coffee and I will have a very small breakfast, like an English muffin or something like that.
On a 45, she doesn't even care anymore. She won't even mention it. She's sitting there with a full Irish and she has a second helping and she has great food.
Well, I'm eating something. I think that's progress. So, and they will have fruit and so on. So I probably will have a little bit of like a little mix of fruits where I can nibble on as well. Mm-hmm. And I will be reading the newspaper, whichever day and version it is, because it can't be the...
Well, it's the Tokyo Sun. So basically they have a daily English-speaking...
And the English-speaking one, yeah. Then
yeah, like
we
the
will
one that
read
you got the
Tokyo
clipping
Sun.
from. It's the same newspaper, only this clipping is 2 days old.
Okay.
And it's basically... okay, so... It doesn't talk about world politics. It's more like a local newspaper about Japan and then specifically Tokyo and what would be of interest to expats. So who is coming, who has left, who is who, list of English-speaking doctors, list of English-speaking blah, whatever. So it's partly yellow pages so that, like, if you need a lawyer who speaks English, that kind of thing. Then also there are different societies of the expats. So, I mean, the English or British are very good at creating societies. There's a tennis society. There's a golf society. There is a. I believe they also already at this stage have a baseball society already. That would be American baseball in Japan since when? In 1872.
Yeah.
Yes. So, all of this, where you can go, where you can participate, but also like the cultural pages. So which kabuki plays are on, which no plays are on. You read about this completely new and most recent and upcoming picture thing.
Picture, yeah.
And there is a picture of the pictures that one can see.
The picture gallery.
The picture gallery. Yep. So can I get this big? So this is actually an image. Of course, it would be in black and white. Imagine it to be in black and white of what one of those paintings looks like. So it looks like a Wimmelbild, but it's not. It's and you would know this is something that they really like doing. They like putting out some kind of a flower, then lots of its petals. There are also 1, 2 at least cranes, and then there are, and this is called, this is actually a picture depicting people looking at an imperial garden in China, mind you, in China.
Yeah.
And I think these are peonies, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so this is the kind of image and picture, and they have assembled lots of these. And it's the first time all of these have been collected. They're all by the same artist.
Okay.
And he is a bit of a weird one in terms of he was always a recluse. And what you learn is also that you have a birth date, which was in the last century. But then again, you were born in the last century. But there is not a death date, but he would be 80. So the question is he still alive? Or maybe they don't know. And it's his paintings.
Okay. And I suspect still it may be something like cherry blossoms or
possibly, yeah.
Peonies are flowers on the ground, so they would not grow like that, I think, at least. Although you never know, artists. Freedom, what they
well, no, it could well be, because I have no idea what it is. And that's
although
basically
if it's Chinese, he would not draw that for sure.
No, he is not Chinese, but the garden is in China.
The
He's
garden
not Chinese.
is China. Yeah, but China, I'm not sure if cherry blossom is a thing, but there are other trees that can bloom.
Yeah.
So.
And so basically, and then of course there's also a list of ships coming in and going out. Yeah.
Is there a society or club for, like, archaeological
yes
thingies? That would be the one that Alice would note down in her notebook.
Yeah, there is. Because, okay, we're going to make this up. It's going to call the American Japanese Cultural and Antiques Society.
Okay.
You also find out where they are located. They are, of course, they have their headquarters in Tokyo, and they are known, I mean, they are a little bit like the East India Company from a cultural perspective. So basically, they fund the recovery of. Having said this, make a roll on Japanologica.
Okay. Oh, no, that's wrong dice combination. I have. You guys belong together. I had a 60 and a 10 on the die. That didn't make any sense. I have no idea. I rolled an 80.
Okay, so yeah. So we will have to discuss this OT at the moment because
I'm not sure if they would be allowed to do much
that's
archaeological
one
things
thing,
and
but the
so on.
other is in all our time and all our research that you and I did, archaeology doesn't really enter very much into the picture in Japan. And I'm wondering, is it
Yeah.
because mostly they built in wood? Because even up until the Second World War, most structures in Japan were built made out of wood, which is why they all were devastated. So it's not like they do a lot of art. It's not like when you go to Greece, you see all the old ancient buildings. When you go to Egypt, you see all the ancient structures. But it's not like there is a lot of this in Japan.
It looks like, not sure if Wikipedia is saying the right thing. We would need to see. They started to have works in Japan on 1877. Prehistoric sites in northern Japan. Because they also look not only at buildings, at anything made of stone,
Yeah.
on all the pottery, which
Yeah.
you have tons of.
Yeah.
So
it's
they
really
would
along
have
those
things to
lines.
look at.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I would suspect it's small because I'm not sure how much the Japanese would be willing to share.
Well, I think probably it's more like they would be able to look at it, they would be able to read it, they would be doing research, but it's not like they're allowed to take it out of the
Yeah.
country. But they definitely exist. And of course, there is also a language school in Kanda, which when we say language school, it's not the same. This is actually an academy where people can come and study all kinds of languages. And many Westerners come to study Japanese, to study Old Japanese, Middle Japanese, to study the different writing systems, and to study, and this is one thing that Japan would have been really good at back then and probably still today, linguistics and the study of literature. That has
Yeah.
always been super important, like in China as well. And so when we talk about the cultural, so it's a cultural and antique society. So you don't just specialize in taking stuff from the ground and analyzing it, but also maybe in the more anthropological, cultural background of where does the theater come from? Why is it like this? Because in many ways, the Noh theater and the Kabuki theater were created at some point, and then they stopped evolving, and we're looking at something that hasn't changed in form. It would be like, oh, if somebody said today, let's create a Greek epic and perform it. Maybe not 2,000 years old, but quite old. So it's so I think this is what they would be doing, and of course, it's also a curiosity. People are curious about this, and as we all know, as we know from 2 weeks ago, with the World Expositions, where many Japanese and Chinese artifacts were brought to Europe. This whole idea of Orientalism became very prominent in Europe. People were starting to collect, and they were collecting things like pottery and I mean, like they were officially exported. Like so, that
Yeah,
would
especially
be something.
also from China as well.
Yeah.
All the vases and
Yeah.
ceramics, and Japan maybe would be similar, at least with the things they would be willing to export. Maybe not old things, but at least current things.
And of course, also a lot of stuff would deal with what we would call mythical, what they would call religious artifacts. Because remember when we saw all of these Buddhas and canons when we were in Prague. So that would definitely be there. So a lot of this would be more religious. And some of these artifacts, as we learned, are super old. I mean, they have like stuff that came in from India to Japan. So that would be there. And so I would think that you would find this.
Okay.
But also you would, if you probably if you went there, you would learn things about the history of Japan that you don't know because it's a little bit
That would be
esoteric
an
and not in the
idea.
books.
That it might be a point to get a little bit of additional information if needed.
Yeah, so that would be another thing. Let me just look what else you would find. Then, of course, the Geographical Society of Tokyo, which is where Professor Fukuchi himself is located. You find out a little bit about this. They are really interested in the geography and in the geology of the area, but not only the area of Japan, but also the outlying islands that belong to Japan. And they would also have huge map collections. You can find out about this as well. And that is this one. Then, of course, there are very, very many libraries, like the court library and so on and so forth, that you could go to. Yeah, and yeah. And if you want to find like translations of books from Japanese into modern language, into other languages, you would find them at the language school, where they basically have a huge library of translated texts, because many texts of a historical nature need to be translated into, let's say, they have a huge translation group into German and also into English. So most works would have been translated both into German and into English. French, not so much.
Yeah.
So that's where those would be the basic ideas. And as you are sitting there, you are suddenly approached by a young man, a bellhop, and he hands you an envelope, and he says, Ms. Baker, for you, from Colonel Piggott. Would you like me to wait for an answer?
Yes, give me a second, and I'll just wait and see. What does the Colonel write?
He greets you and Miss Williams, and he is pleasantly surprised, and he expresses his delight at being contacted by you, and of course he would love to make time for you, and he offers you 2 slots, either this afternoon or the next morning at 10. This afternoon at 2:00. Or maybe we could even make lunch and then meet.
Dottie, what do you think? Lunch and then meet?
Well, I think strike the iron while it's hot.
Yeah. Alice will give a short, very polite answer that it's lovely for him to make time, and we would love to meet him for dinner if he wants to, and then have a talk.
And basically, the bellhop notes down what you are saying, and then he says, I shall relay the message. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you so much.
And he leaves. And with a look at the clock, because it's 11:15, and you have had a lot of stress, not stress, but you've had a lot of traveling going on, and I'm also a little bit tired. We shall call it a day, and we will resume in 2 weeks' time with a meeting with Colonel Francis Piggott for lunch, and then afternoon talks. He'll probably serve you tea, just saying.
That's fine. Alice has been to London. She is fine with tea without problems as well. As long as she has a coffee for breakfast. That's the only thing where I think she will struggle if it's tea, but the rest...
And you can also think about what you would like to do, if there's anything you would like to do in the morning, because you do have about 4 hours before lunch. Lunch would be at 1.
I think Akane will show up sometime.
Probably,
that she's
definitely,
there,
yes.
I suspect.
Yeah. And then you can think about what you're going to tell her and what you're not going to tell her, and on which errand you're going to send her.
Very, very true.
Okay,
I will
then
think about and let you know. Thank you so
Thank you very
much
much
for running. It's fun to be back.
It's fun to be back. It's been a while, and thanks everybody for listening. And yeah, we will see each other again in 2 weeks in the city of Tokyo. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.
Oh yeah, and happy Halloween.
Oh.